Sony ZV-1. It's the greatest vlogging camera of all time. Maybe, depending on who you're talking to. Some people think it's the worst vlogging camera of all time. The 24mm is not wide enough. And then other people are like, yes, this is the thing. But we are audio for content creators. What we care about is the only important question, which is, how is the audio quality on the Sony ZV-1? Is it good enough for professional vlogging, or at least for people who care about audio quality like you and me? What's the quality of the internal microphones? What's the quality of the preamp for plugging in external microphones? That's what we're gonna find out starting right now. All right, this is the first official test of the Sony ZV-1. I am getting back on the road. In-person events are coming back. Touring is coming back to my life. And after 15 months of doing virtual events, sitting in my studio, pretty much never leaving my house or my computer, I am excited, although a little nervous, to be honest. Even though I'd been on the road for 15 years, I've been sitting at home for a year and a half, and I don't know if I know how to do it again. But the point is that back at the beginning of COVID, I basically purchased 3 Panasonic Lumix G85s and a whole bunch of lenses to do all of my studio work, all my broadcast work, all of my events. Let's try this defocus mode. Ooh, now we got something. You have to excuse me if I keep looking backwards because we have bears, black bears, that walk through our backyard here. So I sold all of my Canon cameras, I sold my vlogging cameras, my G7X II, all of that, and I switched over to Panasonic cameras. And typically you wouldn't use Panasonic cameras for vlogging because even though they're amazing for video, they have horrendous autofocus. But now that I'm getting back on the road, I need something small, light, compact, and now I have a new requirement, which is I don't just need to be able to vlog when I'm on the road. I actually need to be able to do high-end live streaming for paying clients, because it might be the case that I'm in a hotel room somewhere, halfway across the country or in a different country where I just did an in-person event, but then the next day or the next afternoon or the next morning, while I'm still at that hotel, I might have to do a virtual event for a different client. And so I need something that can sustain that kind of high-end live streaming. My biggest complaint about the G7X II was there was no mic input, and 2, the built-in microphones were terrible. The one thing we haven't talked about though is the audio quality. And the audio is, it's not great. It's not great. And as an audio guy, right now I've got the Furry wind muff that actually comes with the camera. It comes with the camera, and it actually attaches to the cold shoe right on the top of the camera. But I'm going to take it off now because it's actually pretty windy out. You'll also have to pardon me if I'm being extra weird looking for... We have ticks. I live in Connecticut. We have ticks that carry Lyme disease. It's actually really dangerous, and we've had a few live ticks in the house recently, and we have a baby, and it's very scary. So we've got people spraying our lawn now. I am about 2 feet. I can't be further than 2 feet away. Like I can touch, that's the lens. I can't be further than 2 feet from the microphone. This is without the Furry wind muff on. So we've got a good amount of wind. This is what the built-in microphone sounds like. With no wind protection. I don't have the digital wind protection on, which I assume is like 150 or 200 hertz roll-off. So nothing is on. The Furry windscreen's not on, so I'm going to put that back on right now. And now you can tell me if the tone changed at all, if the quality changed at all, and if it's helping with the wind. I don't know. I can't monitor the audio because there is no headphone jack. It's another complaint people have about this. If you're going to give us all these great audio options, better microphones and an audio and a mic input and everything like that, and manual control over the input gain, why not give us a headphone jack? But it's a tiny little camera. They can only put so many ports in this thing. Now we're going to switch over to the Movo VXR10 Pro, which is a budget, a $40 on-camera shotgun microphone. So now you're getting a sense of what a budget on-camera shotgun mic will do for you with the preamps built into this camera. And next, And lastly, we're going to switch over to the Rode Wireless Go system. Of course, I have the white version because this is the version that Rode sent me to review last year. And normally, I've seen a lot of reviewers of the Sony ZV-1 using the Wireless Go because it's so small, light, and portable. I think I'd rather have the black version if it was going to be attached to this because it would be less conspicuous. More conspicuous? It would be more conspicuous. But nonetheless, the audio should be exactly the same. This is the Mark I. I'm pretty sure they recently came out with a Mark II, which Rode hasn't sent me. Maybe they will. Maybe I can request it in black. Maybe I can get it in black. But I'm going to toss this on right now. And now I'm using the mic built into the transmitter on the Rode Wireless Go. And of course, the beauty of having this as a vlogging system is that you could just be moving around, you could be walking around, you could back up, you could come over here, you could normally I'd be walking all the way around the lawn to demonstrate this, but as the aforementioned ticks are out in abundance, I won't be leaving my deck at the moment. But you can see that this is a really, really small, tiny little portable setup, and especially if you wanted to use the mag clip, which you can buy as a little accessory, you could of course just toss this under your shirt and attach it to a shirt anywhere in any position. The point is that this is what it sounds like using a very, very light wireless lav system with the ZV-1. Of course, it's like a $200 or $250 system, so it's not like this is cheap or anything like that. But this is how it sounds with the preamps built into this damn thing won't stay. I can never get this thing to stay on no matter what I do. I gotta tell you though, it's so nice to have a camera again that can focus on its own as opposed to the Panasonic cameras. And last but not least, I'm going to plug in the Bears. Okay, and now you're actually hearing the lav mic that's going in through the Rode Wireless Go into the to the ZV-1. So here is one more way that you can actually be using this. And this, you know, this kind of a system would be really helpful if you were much further away. So let's say that I was much further away and maybe I was zoomed in to get even more of the background blur, or to get a different kind of an image. Now, you know, the audio doesn't change, which is obviously a beautiful thing to have with a wireless system, especially if you're vlogging, you're going to be out in nature, anything like that. Or maybe you don't want to zoom in. Maybe what you really want to do is you want to show the wide angle. You want to show more of the scene, and you want to be sitting, or you want to have something here on the table that you're showing, or you want to show off your bonsai tree that desperately after the entire winter needs to be trimmed up. So I'm about to go inside, listen to all the samples. Before I do that, go into the comments and let me know, did you think that the inbuilt microphones were good enough to use for vlogging? Did you think that there was a vast improvement with the Movo VXR10 Pro? Or would you want to go all the way up to something super pricey like the Rode Wireless Go system? What did you think of any of these, all of these? Tell me in the comments, and we're going to go inside right now, and I will give you my opinion now. So I have just listened to all the different samples of audio. I'm back in the studio. I'm actually on the ZV-1 right now. It's about 3 feet away from me, and I have the Rode VideoMic NTG plugged directly into it, and I'm capturing all of this through the HDMI output into my ATEM Mini. So I'm using this like it would be a live streaming setup right now. I'm actually recording this directly to a USB-C thumb drive. I did have a chance just now to listen to all these samples, as I said, and you know what? The internal mic is okay. And when I say it's okay, I mean, I would use it. Like, I would be perfectly happy with it. I thought that when I got the level dialed in properly, it's a little thin. The mic sounds a little thin. It's not full. You don't get a lot of warmth in the low end or the bass or anything like that. A little nervous, to be honest, even though I'd been on the road for 15 years. I've been sitting at home for... it was surprisingly directional. It did a really good job of blocking out the background noise. You did hear there was quite a lot of wind rumble when the wind picked up and the dead cat was not on. It's actually really dangerous. And and we've had a few live ticks in the house recently, and we have a baby, and but when a dead cat was on, it sounded like it did a perfectly serviceable job. Then when I put the Movo VXR10 Pro on, noticeable difference, right? So plugging in an external shotgun mic, even a budget shotgun mic like the VXR10 Pro, there was a noticeable difference. So now you're getting a sense of what what a budget on-camera shotgun mic will do for you with the preamps built into this camera. It was even more directional, and we captured a lot more of the fullness, the richness, the low end of my voice, even at the same distance, which was great. And then I don't have that much to say about the Rode Wireless Go. I thought that both the transmitter mic and the lav mic did a very did a good job. Everything sounded pretty clean. The transmitter did better than I expected. And now I'm using the mic built into the transmitter on the Rode Wireless Go. And of course, the beauty of having this as a vlogging system, it's a little bit tinny. That's just how that mic sounds. It's not a great mic. But in terms of a bare bones setup, I don't think using the actual lav mic was so much better quality than the transmitter at that point. Okay, and now you're actually hearing the lav mic that's going in through the Rode Wireless Go. I think I would just pop that transmitter on me, have it permanently, you know, the Wireless Go, it holds the battery on both the receiver and the transmitter like forever. So I would just turn them on at the start of my vlogging day, keep the transmitter and the receiver on, and then every single time you opened up the ZV-1 and started recording, you'd automatically be getting pretty good audio. But if you didn't want to do any of that, if you don't want to have all that, like if I'm running through an airport, there's a very good chance that I'm not going to want any microphones attached to this thing. I'm just going to want that thing in a side carry, you know, like I used to always have the G7X II in a little pouch on my hip, on a belt pouch. I'm just gonna want this camera by itself, and that was always my big problem with the G7X II, was that the internal mics, they just so bad. But this is not bad. It's not bad. And then of course here in the studio, plugging in something like the VideoMic NTG, which is a $250, it's a premium on-camera shotgun mic, 3.5 millimeter, just terrific. What I've done here is I've taken the input gain, the preamp of the camera, all the way down to essentially off, to nothing, and I'm using the gain from the mic, from the VideoMic NTG itself, to get a cleaner signal. So even though I have not listened to this yet, so maybe I'm totally wrong, this should be warmer, fuller, deeper, richer than any of the other options we've heard so far. But I gotta tell you, as far as the Sony ZV-1 goes regarding audio, I'm thrilled. The preamp sounds like one of the best preamps I've heard in any camera. The preamps that are built into like my Panasonic cameras are horrendous. The Canon ones I used to have were okay, but not great. The preamp built into this sounds pretty good, pretty clean. Like I'm thrilled. There's a lot of dynamic range, a lot of input gain that you can play with manually. Having said all that, I hope this was helpful, useful, interesting. If there's more that you want to know about the ZV-1, just let me know down in the comments, whether it's audio or video. I'm happy to do a little bit of video stuff on this channel, even though it's audio for content creators. But thanks so much for sticking with me. Like if you enjoyed it, found it helpful or useful. Subscribe if you haven't already. Come back anytime to sound better and level up, and we'll see you soon.